everyone, welcome back to HelloCode World. Today we are going to learn about object-oriented programming in JavaScript. What are the constructor functions? How to use one? This will require us to unlock the meaning of this keyword in the frame of a constructor function. Also, we are going to learn about the prototypes and prototypal inheritance in JavaScript. I will also explain Object.create method, how we use it to connect an object to a prototype. A lot to cover. Let's begin. Let's create an object, a person object, by using JavaScript objects on the fly. And you already know how to create an object, right? Like by using JavaScript, the curly parentheses. If you don't know, you can see my JavaScript Fundamentals course number 1. Just creating a variable person1 and creating an object like so. Name John, age 23. And let's create a greet function. Say hello, sounds good. Hello, this name. This is person number 1, and I need another person object for some reason. Let's go and create a second one. Const person2. And the person2 will need exactly the same things here, but it will have the name Jane, and it will also have a say hello method, which doing the same job. And if I need to execute the say hello method for person1, all I have to do is writing person1 dot say hello, and for person2 it's going to be again the same thing. That works fine, but here is the problem. I have to, although I'm using exactly the same function, I need to hold a copy of this function in order to use it, both in person1 and person2. That's not the way to go, because here, okay, we have only one method. What if the object is bigger and we need more methods? And methods use the memory. They are heavy. You don't want to each time when you create an object, create a new method for that object, even if it is doing the same job. How JavaScript fixes that problem? Now, let's get into the concept of a constructor function before explaining the how. Constructor function. We have such a concept in JavaScript, okay? What is a constructor function? Now, if I create a person constructor function, the ingredients are going to be something like that. Just remove this part. And you can see already, because you know how to write a function in JavaScript already, right? And we are using the function keyword here. And naming the function is just like the regular JavaScript, but the difference is we start with the capital letter. So from the function definition part, you can already see that the only difference of creating a constructor function on the surface is we have the name of the function with the capital, starting with the capital letter. That's it. Long story short, let me do this. So what I said is this is the constructor function, and just a regular function. Now, I write exactly the same thing as a regular function. I have the function keyword. It will be exactly the same. Function, person. I start with lowercase, and I want to have the person, age, and I don't want this now. And now the next stage, how can I call the person regular function here? All I have to do, I need to call it by name and pass a real data for the parameters. And at the moment, all I see those lines. If I want to see something from this person, I need to grab it to the console.log, grab it with this. Okay, and I got undefined. And you exactly know why this is, because JavaScript functions doesn't return anything, right? By default, we need the return keyword. It has to return or cancel something, right? Just because I use the console, I'm gonna return, and what I want to return is maybe we will just return the name. That's it. Not the age, just one parameter. And I can see that code is executing because I just called a function. But the constructor function is a special concept in JavaScript, and we need to call them, if we are calling them, with the new keyword in front of them. I will write the same thing, console.log, and I need to put the new keyword in front of the constructor function. And unlike the previous one, I didn't get the undefined. What I got is that means that you have an object, but empty object in the type of a person. And there is nothing in it at the moment, okay? If I want to add the data, like at that point, I want to add the name and the age parameter to the object I am getting, all I have to do is this dot name and assign to the name, this dot age assigned to the age. Now, the person typed object has the name and the age properties in it with the data I am creating, I am calling at the execution moment. When we call a constructor function, there are many things happening under the surface, and these many things are happening under the surface because that is how the constructor functions are defined. It's a concept, okay? And when you call the constructor function with the new keyword, what will happen is an empty object will be created in the memory. Step number 1. It will create an empty object. Remember the empty object you saw in the beginning. That's what is happening. Now, because we want to pass data to that object, we don't want to create empty objects, right? We want to pass data. That's why a temporary placeholder name will assign to that empty object, and it is this keyword here, this one, is the temporary placeholder name assigned to that empty object. That's why you are able to use the dot notation to add new properties inside of that empty object. That's all you are doing here. That's why the property name here you are giving to can be changed. But what you are assigning to that property has to be the same with the data you are passing to that constructor function. Now let's assign a name to that person object here, not just create it like so. Okay, I cut it, and because I'm creating this through the constructor function, I will say person construct number 1. Person construct number 1, and everything is exactly the same. I just assign it a new name. It won't be called as this Yeah, still it is this keyword is there, but you understand what I mean. I consider the person construct one. Okay. What else we can add inside of an object? Name, age, just like the ones we created on the fly, I will add a function as well. Well, the first thing you can think, maybe we can add a function like so. Okay, that will work fine. As you see, the person has now another property, say hello, and we can execute it basically just like that, just like the other ones. A person construct once, say hello. Okay, I got another hello John. One is created through the regular JavaScript function on the fly, and the other one but via constructor function. Now, what if I want to create another person? What will happen is person construct number 2, and this, if I console.log that one as well, console.log person construct number 2, the person construct number 2 is going to have the exact copy of the say hello, and although the say hello is doing the same job, I have another copy planted on that object. And I was just saying that that is a problem. We are not enjoying having a copy of a function on an object because they are heavy, and we don't want them. We don't want them every time a copy, and our objects are carrying a copy. And JavaScript for that has a very, very nice trick. It has a special object called prototype. What is a prototype? Prototype is an object assigned to the constructor functions. Once you create a constructor function, actually what you're doing also behind the scenes, additionally, where did we create this constructor function? Just here. And we said when we call the constructor function with the new keyword, an empty object is created. And that's not the only thing is happening. The other thing that is happening is a prototype object, prototype object is created. Object is created. An object called prototype is created for the constructor function. Okay, and assigned to it. I have something here I want to share with you. This is our constructor function person. When you create one, a prototype object is created, and it is assigned to person constructor function in prototype property. So through the prototype property, constructor function has a reach to the prototype function. Okay, but this is not it. Now, that prototype function also can be reached through every object we are creating. What I mean by that. Now, before going there, actually, now because I don't want to carry the copy of that function on every object I am creating, that makes sense that I am going to put it to the prototype object, because I just told you that the prototype object has a reach through the constructor function. Also, every object you are creating has a reach to the prototype function, its prototype object itself. Then just remove it here, because I don't have this function anymore. I just remove that. Instead, I will add the person's prototype property. So person has a property called prototype, and there we have the prototype object. I know the naming can be a little bit confusing. The name of the object, also the property name of the objects are the same. I am adding that method into the prototype object. Now I can go back and execute the person construct say hello with no problems for both of the objects actually. How did this happen? Although right now you are not seeing anywhere the not in the person one or the person two, the function itself, the say hello itself. If I just open this and go here, the prototype, and open that one, you will see the say hello on the person one and also in the person two. And they are using that function through the prototype object. Because we are calling the say hello function through the person construct one object, JavaScript execution environment is going to check that object first to find the definition for the say hello. If she cannot find it, definitely in this case, she won't, she's going to go and check inside of the prototype object. And there it is. Every object we are creating via the constructor function is going to assign to prototype object, has a reach to the prototype object. And that is going to be through the underbar proto underbar property. I know the things are getting complicated, but please hold on. It's quite simple. Basically, that proto property also automatically assign register to every object you are creating. This is part of the process. That's part of the process taken care of by the constructor functions. Every object has this proto property, and the value of this proto property is person.prototype, which is the value of the person.prototype you already know is that prototype object. We can prove it through something. Let's do something like this, okay? I want to console.log. Console.log. What I have just said, person construct one, I said person construct one has a property called proto underbar proto underbar, and that is some property we assign automatically on every object we are creating via person constructor. What does it say is, and we said it is value is exactly the same prototype object. I can check it through this equality sign to see if the object number one, which is the person construct one, and the person construct two is the same. I will say person construct two underbar proto. If it is the same object, I should get true, right? Because this is the strict equality. And yes, 258, they are the same object. We can also check if the person.prototype is the same object with those two. I just remove that and write like so. And you can see that this is also returning true. Okay, that is what the prototype is. I hope it makes more sense now. As the next topic, I want to speak about Object.create method. We have a method called Object.create. Okay. I want to create a object. Let's call this person, and this person object is going to have only a greet method in it. I add a method called greet. And all the greet method is doing is just printing the name. Okay. What if I create a variable const John and use the Object.create method and pass the person object as a parameter to the Object.create method. Let's cancel download the John. We already declared the person where in line 7. I will just call this object greet. And that's what I'm going to pass to here. Okay. I got an empty object. But if I open that empty object, I got the prototype, and in the prototype, I have the greet function. What greet is, what Object.create did is, it assigned the object to a new object as a prototype. Okay, that's so wonderful. That means that the John has a reach. I can reach to the greet methods through John now. And but there is a problem. Actually, let me just try to run the greet now. Like so. Well, I didn't get anything. I got hello undefined, right? Why this is happening? Because there is no property called name in the John object. We can solve this problem basically adding a name property inside of the John object, like so. Now I have my hello John, and also you can see that property and the value in the object itself. I hope that helps and you have a better understanding now what is constructors, constructor functions, prototypes, and Object.create method. That is how JavaScript handles the object-oriented programming behind of the scenes. Although with the ES6, we have this new syntax, the class syntax in JavaScript. We will see that in another video. Behind the scenes, everything works as a constructor function. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.